Madani life of the last Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Madani life of the last Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Anbiya wal Mursaleen. Amma ba'd, fa'a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Salatu wassalamu alayka ya Rasulallah wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Habiballah. As-salatu wassalamu alayka ya Nabiyallah wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Nurallah. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, in the previous episode, we discussed the great manners of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, which the Quran calls the superb standard. Today, inshaAllah Azza, we're going to address the Shama'il, meaning the attributes of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. We'll listen to what Shama'il means and what are the Shama'il of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. But before, let's listen to the excellence of reading Durood Pak. Sayyidina Shaykh Muhammad ibn Sulaiman Jazuli Rahmatullahi Ta'ala states, I was on a journey. I was passing by a place and it was time for Salah. There was a well, but I did not have a bucket and a rope. I was thinking about it when a little girl from the top of the house saw me and said, What are you looking for? I said, Dear, a bucket and a rope. She asked, What's your name? I said, Muhammad ibn Sulaiman al-Jazuli. The little girl astonishingly said, So it is you who is so famous, and your condition is that you cannot even draw water from the well? Saying this, the little girl spat into the well. A marvel occurred. All of a sudden, the water came upwards and started overflowing. He rahmatullahi ta'ala performed wudu and asked the girl, Dear, tell me the truth. How did you get this brilliance? The little girl said, I recite salat, meaning durood. By its blessing, I have received this favor. He rahmatullahi ta'ala states, I was impressed by that girl, and at that same time, I made the intention, I will write a book about salat, meaning about durood. Hence, he rahmatullahi ta'ala wrote a book about salat, which became extremely popular. The name of the book is Dalailul Khairat. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, according to the scholars of Hadith, meaning Muhaddiseen, in Shama'il, meaning the attributes of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, when we consider the literal meaning of Shama'il, it means the manners and habits of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. And when we consider its connotative meaning, it means the beauty of his blessed body. Many books have been written about the Shama'il, meaning the attributes of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. But the famous book amongst them, which possesses a distinct rank and status from other books, is the book of Imam Abu Isa Tirmizi, known as Shama'il Tirmizi. In this book, the habits and attributes and beauties of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam have been discussed. What was the blessed style of his walking, sitting, and speaking like? What did the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam like to eat? And other blessed things are mentioned. At the same time, his physical beauty is also mentioned. Since a program about the manners of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam was presented, therefore, in this episode, we are going to discuss the attributes of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. In other words, some of the beauty of his blessed body, inshaAllah Azza wa Jal. Allama Yusuf al-Nabhani, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, writes in his blessed book, Shama'il Rasul, the purpose of collecting and discussing Shama'il, meaning the attributes of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, is not only to get historical information because people are interested in it and inclined to it. They are stated in gatherings and are presented as evidence for different purposes, and other similar benefits are attained. But also, there are some other purposes of gathering and discussing the attributes which are very important in the religion. And what are those things? These are as follows. Pleasure of the soul. The soul would be pleased by discussing the superb attributes and beloved manners of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. pleasure of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam. The pleasure and closeness to the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam would be attained by discussing the beautiful attributes of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam. Attempt to pay him back the favor. The Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam did a great favor to us. He took us out of darkness of misguidance and led us to the light of guidance. He rid us of eternal misfortune and told us the message of everlasting fortune. This is the great bounty in comparison to which nothing from the world can be presented. Nobody except Allah Almighty has the power to give its return. One purpose of discussing the blessed attributes is also to make a poor attempt to pay Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam back for his great favor. Naturally, people love personalities with good attributes, and he sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam is on the rank of superb manners. Discussing the Shama'il is to develop the love of Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam in the hearts of people by discussing his blessed attributes. Following the Sunnah, his beautiful attributes should be discussed so that people will adopt his way. For example, his generosity, forbearance, humility, piety, worship, and manners and circumstances. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, make the intention that for the sake of Allah Almighty, we will listen to the attributes of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam to achieve these purposes, inshallah azza wa jal. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, unlike other prophets and messengers, the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam was not sent as a prophet to a single tribe, and that too for a limited period of time. The Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam was sent as a prophet for all human beings. The sacred personality of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam is the sun, whose light illuminates the outer self and the inner self. Therefore, it is necessary that the beauty of the physical body of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam be greater and superior to all the previous prophets alayhi salatu wasalam, because the apparent body testifies to the greatness of the inner self. When Allah Almighty sent His beloved Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam as a spiritual guide to all human beings, He granted so much greatness and vastness to the outer self and the inner self of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam that nobody would even imagine being equal to him. For the guidance of the creation, it was necessary to create Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam with high manners and an extremely beautiful face, so that this face would also become a miracle, and an observer would say, I swear by Allah Almighty, it cannot be a liar's face. Imam Busiri rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh describes the same fact in his famous Qasida Burda Sharif. He says, فَهُوَ الَّذِي تَمَّ مَعْنَاهُ وَصُورَتُهُ ثُمَّ اصْطَفَاهُ حَبِيبًا بَارِئًا نِسَامِ مولاي صلِّ وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. It is only he who has reached the level of perfection with respect to the outer self and the inner self. Then the creator of all souls chose the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, just like the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam is matchless in the perfection of his seerah, similarly, nobody amongst the earliest and the latest is like his beauty either. His beauty is also part of the completion of faith. Allama Qastalani rahmatullahi ta'ala states, faith in the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam is completed when we have the belief that Allah Almighty created His blessed body in such a form that there was neither anybody like before Him, nor there would be later. Allama Qurtubi rahmatullahi ta'ala states, not the entire body of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam was revealed to us, because if the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam had appeared with all his beauty, our eyes would not have got the power to see it, because we are not able to encompass the manifestation of the Holy Prophet ﷺ completely. The entire Quran is in the praise of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. Allah Almighty made the Holy Prophet ﷺ an incomparable jewel of superb manners and an everlasting figure of a beautiful face, and made him the beloved of the creation. And that's not all. In his great book, meaning Quran too, he praised Prophet ﷺ. Allah Almighty declared the blessed body of the Holy Prophet ﷺ light from head to toe. Allah Kareem says in the Holy Quran, قَدْ جَاءَكُم مِّنَ اللَّهِ نُورٌ وَكِتَابٌ مُبِينٌ. Translation from Kanzul Iman. Indeed, towards you has come a light from Allah, the Prophet Muhammad, and a clear book, the Holy Quran. Allama Jalaluddin Suyuti Rahmatullahi Ta'ala writes in the commentary of the word Noor, وَهُوَ النَّبِي صَلَّى اللَّهُ تَعَالَى عَلَيْهِ وَآلِهِ وَسَلَّمَ. Light means the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Allama Khazin Rahmatullahi Ta'ala states, light means Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Allah Almighty called him sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam light, because just like guidance is attained through light in the dark, similarly, guidance is attained through Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam as well. The Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam described himself as light. Hence, the teacher of the teacher, Imam Bukhari and Imam Muslim, Imam Abdul Razak Rahmatullahi Ta'ala narrates from Sayyidina Jabir radiyallahu ta'ala anhu that Sayyidina Jabir radiyallahu ta'ala anhu states, I asked the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, what was the first thing which Allah Almighty created? He sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam said, O Jabir, it was the light of your Prophet which Allah Almighty created. Sayyidi Ala Hazrat Rahmatullahi Ta'ala says, तेरी नस्ल पाक में है बच्चा बच्चा नूर का, तू है आईने नूर तेरा सब घराना नूर का. Where the Holy Quran granted the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam the rank of the superb manners, at the same time it states the type of his beauty as well. It is proclaimed about his beautiful face and black tresses. وَالضُّحَى وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا سَجَى. Translation from Kanzul Iman, by the oath of the forenoon and by the night when it covers everything with its darkness. Some commentators said forenoon refers to the light of the beauty of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, and the night refers to his black tresses, meaning the Zulf Mubarak of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Ala Hazrat Rahmatullahi Ta'ala says, hai kalame ilahi mein shamsud duha, tere chehra-e noor fiza ki qasam, qasam-e shab-e tar mein raaz ye tha, ke Habib ki zulf-e dota ki qasam. He says, actually, in the Holy Quran, in the rising sun of the forenoon, in other words, Wadduha, Allah Almighty has sworn by the luminous face of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Whereas Wallayl, the secret in swearing by the night is that you should not consider it an oath of the night. Rather, this is the oath of the black tresses of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, the personality of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam was such a great figure of beauty, by looking at whom withered buds bloom, the dark hearts began to shine, and the sad hearts get calm and comfort. The beauty of our Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam is so incomparable that every holy companion of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam would wish that he would keep looking at the luminous face of the beloved Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam at all times. And therefore, by looking at the luminous face of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, the holy companions alayhimu ridwan would comfort their eyes and hearts, and one glance at the face of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam would spread thousands of pleasures in their hearts. Sayyidina Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, while stating his condition at the time of looking at the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam, says, Inni idha ra'aytuka tabat nafsi wa qarrat ayni, meaning when I look at you, meaning looking at the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam, my heart becomes extremely pleased and my eyes become solaced. Sayyidina Jabir ibn Samura radiallahu ta'ala anhu states, once I saw the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam dressed in a red striped garment on a moonlit night. First, I would look at the moon. Then I would look at the luminous face of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam. His face would look even more beautiful than the luminous moon to me. Subhanallah. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, the famous commentator Hakimul Ummat, Mufti Ahmad Yar Khan Naimi rahmatullahi ta'ala, says in the explanation of this hadith, the eyes of these personalities, meaning the holy companions alayhim ridwan, were truth perceiving. In reality, the face of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam is much more beautiful than the moon, because the moon shines only on 3 nights and the blessed face would shine day and night at all times. The moon shines on bodies and the blessed face shines in the hearts too. The moon gives light to bodies and the blessed face would give the light of faith. The moon decreases and increases and the blessed face remains safe from decreasing. The moon eclipses, but the blessed face would never eclipse. The moon maintains the system of the physical world, and the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam maintains the world of faith. The Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam being more beautiful than the moon was not only because of their devotion, rather that is the fact. Nobody cuts their hands while looking at the moon. Looking at the beauty of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam, the Egyptian women cut their hands, and the beauty of Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam is much superior than the beauty of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam. Hence, the statement of Sayyidina Jabir radiallahu ta'ala anhu is completely correct. Husn Yusuf pe kati, Misr mein angushte zana, aur sar katate hain tere naam pe mardane Arab. When the Egyptian women saw the beauty of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam, they unintentionally cut their fingers. Oh my master sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam, how great your beauty would be. Even your name is so great that the youth of the Arabs are sacrificing their heads upon your name and will always do this till Judgment Day. Sayyidina Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu states, the sacred body of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam was fair. It would seem as if his sacred body was molded from silver. Sayyidina Anas radiallahu ta'ala anhu states, his blessed body was extremely soft and delicate. Even I did not see silk softer and more delicate than the body of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam, and did not smell a fragrance more pleasant than that of his body sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam. The blessed body of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam would look like that of an ordinary person, but it was superior to other humans in importance and excellence. We see boils, sores, scars, and a mosquito bite can cause skin eruption on our bodies. But the blessed body of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam was free from all these flaws. Sayyidina Imam Fakhruddin Razi rahmatullahi ta'ala has quoted this narration that let alone his body, a fly never sat even on his blessed dress, nor did he have lice in his head, nor did any bedbug or mosquito bite him. Abul Rabi Sulaiman ibn Sabah rahmatullahi ta'ala described this topic in his book and wrote, one of its reasons is that he sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam was light. Then since flies and lice are caused because of filth and foul odor, and since he sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam was free from every sort of filth and his body was fragrant, therefore he remained safe from these things. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, however clean and perfumed with the best fragrance other people are, but when they spit, the disgusted impression of observers is obvious. In hospitals, trains, buses, and in all public places, it is written everywhere, do not spit. It is because it spreads diseases and the clean places become filthy. But the splendor of the saliva of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam was unique. When it was applied in the eyes of Sayyidina Ali al-Murtaza radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, they were healed. The arm of the warrior of Islam, Sayyidina Muaz radiallahu ta'ala anhu, was cut off by the enemy's sword. He rushed to the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam and said, "My arm is hanging, it hurts. Please do something." The Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam put his saliva on the wounded arm. Immediately, the wound was healed and the pain was relieved and the hanging arm recovered. An arrow hit the eyes of Sayyidina Qatada radiallahu ta'ala anhu. His eyeball popped out. He also arrived in the court of his master sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam and requested him to heal it. The Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam took his eyeball and placed it in its place and then applied his saliva, and the eye quickly recovered. The pain was relieved and the eyesight became sharper than that of the other healthy eye. This distinction continued in his offspring up to many generations, that the eyes of Sayyidina Qatada radiallahu ta'ala anhu, on which the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam applied his saliva, used to be distinct in beauty and sight. People would understand while looking at their children that they are the sons of Sayyidina Qatada radiallahu ta'ala anhu. They are the descendant from the one whose eye the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam healed through his saliva. Jiske pani se shadab jano jina, us dahan ki tarawat pe lakhon salam. When you of Madani Channel, Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam's blessed eyes were big and naturally kohl applied. He had dense and long eyelashes. The blackness of the pupil was extremely black, and the whiteness of the eye was extremely white, which contained red fine lines. This is the greatness of the blessed eyes of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, that he sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam would simultaneously see front, back, right, left, up and down. He sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam could also see equally during day and night, as well as in the dark and in the light. Then his eyesight was not limited to tangible things. Rather, he sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam would also see invisible and intangible things. Hence, it is narrated in Sahih Bukhari, "Wallahi ma yakhfa alayya raku'ukum wala khushu'ukum." It means, I swear by the Lord Azza wa Jal, your ruku and humility are not hidden from me. Subhanallah, how marvelous the luminous eyes of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam are, that he is observing the ruku as well as the humility of the people who are performing salah behind him. What is khushu? Khushu is the state of fear and humility in the heart which is not observed by an eye at all. But look at the prophetic miracle of the eyes of the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, that he sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam even observed such a thing which is invisible. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, like his eyes, his ears also possess miraculous splendor. Hence he sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam himself has said, "Inni ara ma la tarawna wa asma'u ma la tasma'un." I observe those things which none of you observe, and I hear those voices which none of you hear. From this hadith, it is proved that the power of his hearing and sight is incomparable and possesses miraculous splendor, because he sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam equally hears the far away and nearby voices. Hence, his ally Banu Khaza'a called him for help from the distance of 3-day travel. So he sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam heard their complaint. Allama Zurqani rahmatullahi ta'ala stated in the explanation of this hadith, when the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam heard the complaint of a person from the distance of 3-day travel, so it is not improbable for him, because he sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam would hear the creak of the heavens while he was sitting on the earth. In fact, he would also hear the sound of the moon falling in the prostration under Arsh. Ala Hazrat Rahmatullahi Ta'ala remarks about this miraculous hearing of the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Ta'ala Alaihi Wasallam in a devoted manner, and says, "Duro nazdeek ke sunne wale wo kaan la'ale karamat pe lakhon salam." O devotees of Rasul, my dear viewers of Madani Channel, just like the beloved final prophet of Allah Almighty, Sayyidina Muhammad Sallallahu Ta'ala Alaihi Wasallam is incomparable in beauty. Similarly, his fragrance is also matchless. The body of the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Ta'ala Alaihi Wasallam would give such a pleasant fragrance that the people would know the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Ta'ala Alaihi Wasallam has recently passed through that place. Ala Hazrat Rahmatullahi Ta'ala says, "Ambar zameen, abir hawa, mushk tar ghubar, adna se ye shanaख्त तेरी राह गुजर की है, from where the beloved Prophet ﷺ of Allah Almighty would go. A little sign of this would be that the land and its air would become more fragrant than musk and ambergris and abir, meaning sandalwood. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, ambergris is quite an expensive fragrance which is obtained from a specific fish. Abir is also specific fragrant powder which is prepared by mixing a few fragrances like sandalwood, etc., and then sprayed on the clothes, just like we have body sprays nowadays. Musk is an extremely expensive fragrance which is obtained from a deer, and it is found in a specific deer. O devotees of the holy companions and Ahlul Bayt, the fortunate holy companions alayhimur ridwan, who smelt the fragrance of the blessed body of the holy Prophet ﷺ, just listen to their saying and rejoice. Sayyidina Jabir ibn Abdullah radiallahu ta'ala anhu narrates that the lane and the market through which the Holy Prophet ﷺ would pass, and then if a person would pass through that place, he would know through the fragrance of that place that the Holy Prophet ﷺ had passed through that place. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, if a person loves anyone because of a favor, then loving the Holy Prophet ﷺ is worth more, because he ﷺ removed us from the path of hell and led us to the pathway to paradise. In other words, he safeguarded us from disbelief and blessed us with faith. And the one who loves anyone because of beauty, even then he should only love the Holy Prophet ﷺ, because Allah Almighty granted Prophet ﷺ the most outer and inner beauty amongst all the worlds. May Allah Almighty make us the follower of Sunnah and the sincere devotee of Rasulullah ﷺ by virtue of his manners, habits and beauties. Ameen bijahin Nabil Ameen sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam.
Madani life of the last Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Madani life of the last Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.